All right. I'm broadcasting. We're going to record. This is Surface Geeks episode number 35, recorded on Wednesday, August the 21st, 2013. Welcome back to the Surface Geeks podcast. I am your host, David McCabe. I am joined once again by Mr. Darren Cohen. Hey, Darren, we took a week off. Welcome back.
Sorry, I was just reading something. Thank you. I'm still not back yet. Not back. Now we're back.
Okay, I'll just edit that out. Don't worry about that.
Are we doing some kind of show? Is there something going on?
Sorry, we were talking about temperature readings and stuff, and I've got some stuff to show you. But funny podcast if you want to check out homeservershow.com. Last week's podcast, wasting time, 30 minutes. Nice. Hang on, I'm on gear cam. I got to change it to Hangout for the guys out in the chat. So it's fuzzy cam night. So once again, another lesson in how to do live video podcasting. I think that I've got this thing beat. But before I get into that, at Surface Geeks, you can follow me on Twitter. At FinsUpDNC, you can follow Darren Cohen. We follow the geeks that we are. We're following Surface RT, Windows Phone, Windows 8. We are all about surfaces that you use day to day and the operating systems that run them. It's mostly 99% Windows show. So if you don't like that, then this is probably not the podcast for you. But that's pretty much what we do. And so I'm talking about. Now that I've established that we're a Microsoft-based podcast.
Let's get into a Google episode.
I bought a Chromebook. So, 2 weeks ago, overmodulating. Somebody says I'm overmodulating. Let's see if I can. Let's go to the mixer. Test. You
sound fine on my end.
Okay. I got it locally. I'll try not to overmodulate for you. Sorry about all that. Yeah, we've established that we're a Microsoft podcast. Last week in the homeservershow.com forums, a guy, Tony Rayner, came out and said, "Hey, there's eBay, $129 Chromebooks, 11.6 inches," and I thought, sorry, I'm still reading about the audio in the live. So these guys say that the audio is if I whisper.
Is it both of us, or is it just you? Like, is it coming through the live stream?
I'm getting popping, but it might be me. Snap, crackle, pop. Just Dave.
Well, I'm good. See ya.
Well, I'll just mute. Darren, please, go ahead.
A Chromebook is a piece... No.
Okay, I'm going to reduce some audio levels. How's that? I'm going to pull down on the big slider button, and we're going to try it that way. So, audio podcast listeners, sorry about that. I'm talking about worse. Thanks. Worse.
Maybe move the slider the other way.
I can't move the slider the other way.
It says gone black. Oh, someone says there we go.
How about that? Much better now, Dave. You know what? Things change day to day on this thing. On this rig.
Maybe it's just some audio files in our chat room.
Like crazy. Okay, I think we have it. We can start the podcast now. 4 minutes. Sorry about that. Physical sliders, no. I'm just playing like I'm in a big radio, studio. I don't really actually know what I'm doing, but I did sleep in a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I feel like I'm a podcaster. But
is that what you get for setting up a little meetup there?
Yeah, Hey, I can set up meetups. I can do meetups, man. I got the meetups down. But back to my Chromebook. Okay, I'm going to change over to GearCam and show you my little Chromebook. Now this is a $129 refurb. This thing was in pristine shape. Pristine shape. Little VGA on the side, little Ethernet action right there, right?
Ooh, I wish my Surface had one of those.
Yeah, an Ethernet, right? There's 3 USBs total on this thing. The battery is a horrible battery.
Isn't that the 2-cell or 3-cell, right? One of those.
It's a 3-cell.
Oh, okay.
4 hours, which you could argue that that's just as much as some of the laptops on the market. So argue as you see fit. So what I'm thinking is I wanted to do for $129. I can afford to try this thing out to see what it's all about at $129. If I don't like it, then I just sell the thing. So I just sell it. No big deal. If I do like it, which I hope I'm going to, but I haven't been able to completely test. Now this thing has an HDMI out that I didn't show you. Now what I want to do is create a Hangoutasaurus, and that way I can bring up each individual person in their own computer and then output them HDMI into my main studio machine and then capture that video and send it to you watching out there and to my YouTube raw video. So this CPU is a Celeron, pretty low end, So that's what I'm trying to do, and make the Hangoutasaurus. And I thought if I can do that with a $129 Chromebook, then I'm ahead of the game. Because I mean, you think you buy a used desktop or a refurb desktop that has HDMI, you're probably up to 300. You're probably at 300, or a crappy laptop, 250, $225. Maybe you get them at Thanksgiving for $200. $129, I'm ahead of the game. Now, right now, they're not $129. They sold thousands of these things. They're at $169. So that price is raised. My problem, I'm trying, Baze. I'm trying. Here it is. My problem is my HDMI input card on this PC is a piece of crap. It's crap. It's by AverMedia. I'm going to point them out. So I'm working on getting a Blackmagic card. And when I get said Blackmagic card, I hope that I can take in HDMI video and be able to do my Hangoutasaurus like I should be able to do. So I tried it today. HDMI out to the TV behind me worked great. This thing looks great. It looked good, Darren. But into my card, it just doesn't work. Now we were playing earlier with this thing, the old temperature probe thing, because I put in the forums home server show that this thing it's hot. The keypad, or not the keypad, but the palm rests. Let me go back here to GearCam, guys. If you're listening on audio, always check the YouTubes on this thing. So if I hit this, it's gone up. Look at that, 102.5 on my left palm rest. Let's hit this other one. I hope that you see that little laser.
I think that's doctor material right there.
Look at that. On the other side, 103. Now let me do the. That's 103. Just for the screen, 89.5. 90 degrees on a screen is normal. Back here by the battery, 97.5. On the keypad, 105 degrees.
Is it possible this wasn't refurbed and that was the issue with this machine you just bought?
Possibly. Maybe I'm going to burn this thing out. So.
Like that's insane.
Yeah. Now my touch keyboard on my RT doesn't get this hot.
That's true.
So now someone said RT. Why can't you do it with RT? It's got HDMI out. Yes,
No
it does.
Hangouts.
No Hangouts. But Darren, I can do it with Skype.
Right.
So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do it with Skype. Now, if someone can
Or
get
Link.
Google to write the plugin for Hangouts, I would gladly use my RT.
To be fair, RT doesn't allow any plugins.
Sure. So
we can't blame Google on that one.
You know, we're not. When I bought the thing, I wasn't holding my breath for it.
Right, but you have Skype and Link for video.
Skype. So Skype. So we're gonna try to do that. So this thing, I still think it's good. I've been using it. It's hard to get used to a machine that only has a browser. It's hard to do that. There's times it does have a file program where you can manipulate files, and it's difficult at best. Power users, I would not recommend this as your main machine, although I know that you can take this thing on the couch and do things with it that you can with RT with a Pro. It's a great consumption device. I am able to do SkyDrive. I can do my Office documents out of SkyDrive on it. I can do Evernote, all my browsers. Everything looks really great. It Chromecasts. I can. I've got the live feed here. So, well, if I go back to GearCam, you can see. Well, maybe you can't see. Well, maybe you can. So I'm going to go to Chromecast here, and I'm going to send that out, and you should be able to see
there you go.
the chat window come up behind me on the TV. So anything I do over here, so there is the, oh no,
that just locks the tab though, right?
Yeah, it locks the tab. Now I can go anywhere else. So now I'm going over to woot.com and shopping. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Enough on the Chromebook. If you wanna read about that, homeservershow.com forums. There's a lot of stuff out there talking about the little Chromebook. I like it. I can't live with it. So we will see if I can't get the HDMI stuff to work, then it's out the door. So
for that price though, it's almost like an internet machine, your bathroom machine. And for that price, you don't feel bad just saying that's what it is,
Yeah. No, it's a netbook that only runs a browser.
Right. Which is what netbook should have been running in the first place, because anything else you ran just stopped.
Right. It's like a moped.
Right. It's a Vespa.
Ride it at home. Yeah. Don't take it out of the driveway.
So the Chromebook Pixel is the Vespa, and this is like the crappy moped.
Vespa's kind of cool now, right?
I think they are, but there's still a moped that's expensive.
Yeah, this is something that you could leave. If you had like a second residence or something, you need to leave in a room downstairs or something. Yeah, you just leave it there. Just leave it there.
Well, I think Virgin America gives those out as internet devices on their planes.
Do they?
Yeah.
I see why. $129. So it's all good. We skipped last week. You were in the air.
I was in the air, in the chat room, being as productive as I could be while 36,000 feet with really slow internet.
I have been slaving away at this meetup. If you're not registered for the 3rd annual Home Server Show, the Average Guy.tv SurfaceGeeks.net meetup, then you really should be. This thing's going to be great. Darren, I've had some bad weeks with this meetup. It's just killing me. I mean, killing me. Getting some of this stuff to come together. But as always, little blocks get put into place. And finally, I'm building something, and it's starting to look like something. So things are starting to happen. And, I'm almost proud of what I've put together now, that I know this is going to be a great time. If you are anywhere in the area, you've got to consider getting to this meetup. We're gonna have a lot of mobile and a lot of storage. So if you geek out about any of that, you've got to come. And what I built in this time is a lot of hands-on time. The last 2 years, I didn't build in enough hands-on time, so people can get out of their seats and get over to the gear and tear it apart, put it together, load stuff, try things out, and talk. So and meet and greet amongst each other. It's going to be a great time.
Wait, hold on.
Please.
This is a lot of geeks and stuff. This talking thing might get a little complicated unless we're chatting online.
Well, okay. So we'll all sit. There will be Wi-Fi.
Okay, then we're fine.
Yes, we
Then
can
we're
all
okay.
We'll start a hangout right here on live, and we'll let people talk if they don't want to look at each other. If you don't want to look at someone, you can just talk at them. Tons of news, Darren. I think we're going to be here till midnight. It's 10 o'clock, so let's get rolling.
All right, we're going to start more, I guess, just Microsoft and Google, and this seems to be a repeating topic on the show, and remembers it.
A week ago and 2 weeks ago, I've got notes. Get the Google out. I have physical notes. Get the Google out.
Get
And
the
what I was
Google
going
out.
to do is use this little Chromebook-like thing and do Skype. And you talked me into Link. Oh, by the way, which I purchased and I've never activated. I'm busy.
It's doing something.
I'm busy. Okay. I'll do that while you're hammering at some news. So,
all right.
So please rant about something.
Well, I'll rant about something. So months back, everyone remembers, Microsoft kept waiting on an official YouTube app from Google. It wasn't coming, so Microsoft said, screw this, we'll reverse engineer your API and we'll put it out ourselves. A few days later, Microsoft agreed to pull down the app as Google said, we'll work with you on an app. Last week, everyone got excited. The YouTube app was back. It updated. Everyone downloaded it. And I guess it was maybe 12 hours later, if you open your YouTube app, you got a thing, sorry, can't access, something is wrong. Turns out Google started blocking the app that everyone thought they worked together on. Well, it turns out there's a little twist. Google started making some requests to Microsoft, such as the app had to be done in HTML5, which Microsoft said they knew Microsoft couldn't do because of some limitations with Windows Phone 8. So it was a non-starter. And so Microsoft said, screw it, we're just going to release the app again. And Google blocked it, so we're back to square one with no official YouTube app. And the HTML5 thing's kind of funny because on the Galaxy right here, Android phone, they just updated their YouTube app yesterday, Google. And it's
HTML5, right?
No, not HTML5.
Great.
So they're just making I think they were just saying, we knew you couldn't do this, so we're gonna make you, we knew this would happen.
They set Microsoft up for failure.
Yes, and I think Microsoft the first time set Google up for failure.
True, they did. They timed it perfectly.
Right, exactly.
It was tit for tat.
In the middle of, and I forget where I heard it. Someone said, and this started to make sense because the whole idea of Google is they should, they just want to be in front of eyes. The more eyes they're in front of, the more money. So why would they be doing this? And then someone pointed out that Microsoft gets somewhere, no one knows the exact number, $5, $7, $8 per every Android handset that is sold due to patents. So this might have something more to do with that, with Google saying, okay, it's our turn as you try to build your mobile platform. When we started ours 4 years, 5 years ago, we had to make a deal to pay you X amount of dollars for every handset to keep it in the market.
So Microsoft says, maybe we ease up on a couple of dollars there. You let us in.
But I don't think
Microsoft will.
I think that would work, but I don't think Microsoft will, because all the tech reporters were complaining when the Microsoft earnings were released that they didn't break out the numbers in the mobile sphere. Because most analysts think Microsoft's making a lot more money off Android phones right now than they are off the Windows phone. So I don't know if they're willing to give that up.
I don't think that I would either, honestly.
So I don't think, a lot of people like Google is trying to kill Windows Phone. I don't think Google really cares about Windows Phone at this point.
But Microsoft, actually, I'll say it this way: Google came out the bad guy in both situations.
Yes, and that's I think similar to what Microsoft had in the 90s. No matter what they did with the browser, they were going to be the bad guy. They were the big bad market leader.
Right.
And I think part of it is that, and some Google services they don't have, such a penetration, but YouTube is for online video, it's well in the 90, has to be well, except for like Netflix and that type of video, but short form video, I mean, YouTube is the
That's
market.
it. Yeah.
So if you don't have
Vivo,
Vimeo, yeah.
Vimeo, which Vimeo seems to get the artsy fartsy crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't get
Yahoo
any
Video
good
still
Minecraft recordings, Minecraft gaming on Vimeo.
and Twitch,
It's a
but
shame.
but it's just it seems to just be going back and forth, and I don't know. There's been no resolution. It's just funny that everyone in the back thought, we just heard the two companies are working together and they'll just release an app, and it's getting a little absurd because Microsoft was building this app. And if you think back, Microsoft is still building the Facebook app with permission. Facebook's not going to pull the app. But Facebook actually has a BlackBerry 10 official app.
Okay.
And they don't have a Windows Phone app built by their team. They put encoders on a BlackBerry 10 app and not a Windows Phone app. I don't know if it's something Microsoft is doing. I don't know. Something is going on. Because is it that hard? I don't know. It can't be that hard to make apps. There seems to be a lot of 10-minute apps put together in the App Store, you know.
Well,
And by the way, the
they
Facebook
don't
app
get
got a
me
nice
started, but
Facebook app got a nice update today in the beta channel where it's actually starting to look like more like the other platform apps where you can send pictures and such through Messenger. Um, and someone Surface Droid just said a lot of it might be Bing and Google, and maybe Google's scared more, not scared, maybe a little pissed off the Scroogled campaign,
that probably didn't
which
help things.
I don't think really is having any effect on the market. I don't know if you would think it
No.
is. I don't even think people know what
Hey,
it
we
is.
are 3.7 though.
Well, no, the Windows Phone and the Windows Phone market is slowly growing, and it's number
And I
two
think it
now.
will.
Yes, but I'm not convinced it's going to grow in the U.S. I saw the numbers today in Latin America. They passed that Apple. They're now the number two. All right, so I don't know. Do you think they'll be number three here? I don't think BlackBerry's coming back, but to what percentage? We said a few weeks ago they don't need to get that huge market penetration. But more and more, I'm starting to think, and I had a little incident with my Windows Phone while traveling, which I'll talk about. I have in the notes, but
Okay.
where I started to realize something's up, and and I had a little conversation with a developer, well, a corporation that has an app in the store. So anyway, what is you? First of all, I don't even watch YouTube that much. Do you?
You know, every once in a while I do. My kids do. My kids do. I mean, you can get. They'll bring me an iPad and say, "Dad, search for fill in the blank." Most of the time, it's Thomas crashing or Lego train crashing or volcanoes or Titanic. Something train crashes. So,
Okay.
and
And it's
I get lost in YouTube every once in a while.
okay. Okay. So I mean, it is an important app, and people in the chat room saying, and they're right, that Microsoft does services, and that was kind of gets me to my next point, where nothing worries. I was talking to somebody who I met who works at Microsoft, and last week just chatting, and he said there's some internal worry that some people at Microsoft see there's more money in moving their services onto the other platforms than their own platform. And this is internal. And that would go along, we're seeing the Office, and that's going to push the Office 365 subscriptions. And the Office app on Android and iOS is great. It works great. OneNote works great. Skype works great. We all know
That's
we've been through that
horrible.
before.
Oh, well, I mean
But
that's the Nintendo model, right?
right, right.
Nintendo is dead. I mean, they're not dead,
Sega,
but
I think Sega's still making games, right?
yeah, okay.
I think it's okay. No, they're selling from. Listen, the 1020 is Nokia has some great devices. I don't think. I mean, as a hardware goes, I love my 920. But last week we didn't have the show because I was traveling, and this is me later in the show. Might as well just get the phone stuff out of the way now. I checked into the airport. I had my American Airlines app. Got to the airport, it was great. The live tile lit up with the gate on time, all that. Pressed it, got the boarding pass, didn't have to print anything. Just went to security, scanned the phone, showed my ID, get past security, and I go to open the app again to get on the plane, and it gives me that it opens and closes. You don't see anything, which I've had on Windows Phone before.
Right.
And opens and closes. And I'm past security. I'm already no boarding pass. So I'm like, oh, what a pain. I had my backup phone in my bag, took that out and loaded the app, and it worked fine on my Galaxy, of course. So I wrote an email to the American Airlines thing to saying, so what's up? I had to
You can reboot the phone?
Didn't work. They told me it's a problem they're having with Windows Phone 8, and they have to uninstall and reinstall the app.
Okay.
So I did that. It came back on. But then even while I was away and going around different places, and I'd use a lot of location services. And the person I was with was on a iPhone. And his joke was, he actually liked the Windows Phone. He loves the camera and all that. But he's like, let's see who can do things faster.
Okay, you're going to play Ben the PC guy here.
Right, exactly. Except in real life, I was getting my butt kicked every time. Locations, like I'd go to the search to search something local. You know, you can press the little magnifying glass and you're supposed to do local. You just search something. Half the time it's like, sorry, you're not, something's not there. You're nothing. Just a lot of little things like that start. And when I'm at home, it's not as big of a deal. But when you're away, or especially for work, and you're trying to be done quickly, and you're in an atmosphere where it's like, hey, Darren, go check this. Like, hold on, my Windows Phone's acting up a little bit. It got kind of annoying.
You're killing me, Darren. You're killing me.
It got kind of annoying.
How about this? At the meetup, you're gonna have a lot of Windows phones.
Yes.
A lot of Windows phones at the meetup.
Yes.
We're gonna have a smattering of iPhone, a smattering of Android. We'll just have a global competition. Phones up.
Phones up. Go.
Do this. When you're done, phone down.
There you go. And it's just fun. He was right. He's like, come back to it in 2 years. See where they are. I was like, okay. And even like a lot of, like I said,
come back to the Windows Phone in 2 years.
Yeah, see where it is. If it makes it, you'll have everything you need.
See, now that's what I said when 7 came out.
Right. Well, we're saying the same thing again.
I told a lot of people it's not ready. It's not ready for me. Because I would hate it. A lot of you guys, and I know a lot of you guys listening, sucked it up, and you went, all in. And man, I applaud you. I couldn't.
I had the 900 running 7 and 7.5 really, and then 7.8. But
you, Darren, I complain. I complain about that little bitty black space at the top.
Well, that's
imagine my pain. Imagine listening to me bitch every week on 7 with the black stuff on the side.
And everything perfectly lined up, a perfect grid. Yeah, that was half the screen was wasted.
Yeah. Imagine that.
So it was just it's like we said, we're the enthusiasts, right? We've come here and we talk about the phone at least. We have the phones, we own the phones. I took the phone. I even tweeted when I got through security, hey, American Air, thanks for supporting Windows Phone. They even responded. Actually, Windows Phone responded. Glad you're enjoying your Windows Phone. Little they know, 10 minutes later it didn't work.
I saw that actually.
Yeah, so I was all excited. I'm like, you know what? All you people doubting I could do this, the airline I'm on has the app. Let's go. And it was a few days of being mocked, and even, one of my favorite points of being mocked, we went to a bar and they have a jukebox, and he connects to the jukebox in the bar from his iPhone. He's like, they had credits. He's like, your turn, knowing I couldn't do it from my phone. Because there's no app for that on my phone. But that's what you're starting to see. A lot of like the local taxi apps in many cities aren't on it. That's I think where you really see the differential. Is it workable? Yes. But at some point, how much extra time are you using the? Oh, and when you go to that little, this is the best thing. And he knew we were going the wrong direction, but he was just letting us go. I put in the one place we had to go, press the address on the little Bing search thing, and the map comes up, and I say go to, it was sending me the wrong direction and thought I was going the other direction. So we were walking south, and the phone thinks I'm walking north and telling me I'm walking north, and the line's moving me north, even though I'm going the other way.
Wow.
And 2 blocks later, he's like, "Want to turn around now?" You know, like.
Seriously.
And next time I turned it on, it made me play with it made me do figure eights with the compass. And
Don't you like doing that in public?
yeah.
I closed an app once because of that. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Right, and it was I wanted to write, get online. And
Well, you got embarrassed. You were pwned.
right, I was there. I was saying, you know what, I love my phone. It's gonna work, and it didn't. So just
I can I accept that I'm not gonna have. I can't connect to a jukebox and put in credits with my phone.
right, that doesn't bother me. That was more I
No,
can get
it
up and
doesn't
put it
bother
in,
me
yeah.
at all. I can also accept that the iPhone is very popular and has a lot of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you say, all right, well, just screw it. I'm going to go back to the iPhone. You know, I picked up the 4S. This was even today,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so small. I
It's
cannot
so
go
little.
back to that hardware.
It's so little.
You can't pay me to go back to that hardware. And you know
Right.
what?
Even the 5 is small.
In 3 weeks, they're going to release the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Except in gold.
Exact same thing, and they're going to get, well, all the Apple guys are going to praise it because it has iOS 7, and then
gold. Did you see third
it'll
color?
be gold.
It'll be gold.
Leo will have his gold phone, and it'll be the best thing since sliced bread. Notice how all those guys talk really great about all Android and Windows Phone, and they're looking at it. September, October comes around, and whatever Apple has done is so much better. So much better. It's going to win. And you know what? They're going to sell a lot of them, but it's still. I wrote an article on surfacegeeks.net. iOS 7 is a failure without new hardware. And I'm not talking about the same iPhone 5. I'm talking about bigger hardware.
Right. And we're not seeing that. Maybe next year. This year we're going to see the same size and
yeah, it'll be next year. Next
little
year,
faster processor.
guaranteed. He'll get so much flack from this year's release that I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have a bigger screen right now ready to go.
Right. Might not be ready to be produced. Because I mean, the Android, you have so many phones coming out in so many different sizes. But even the basic standard size of the HTC One, the S4, the Moto X, these are all much bigger than the iPhone. Even the iPhone 5. And then you have the Nokia phones, which are ginormous. And then you have Samsung has the Note 3 coming out in September, and the Mega. I don't know if you saw that thing, 6.3 inches, I think it is.
I don't know. I'm
that might be a little
not
big.
sold on a Samsung phone. I can't.
I will say
fall
this.
in love with that stuff.
This only reason I can use this Samsung is because I rooted it and put on Cyanogen 10.1, and that works great. But you can't tell a normal user to do that.
No.
You have to.
Too much fluff. I can't do it.
Right, and it slows down their own machine.
Yeah.
Like the S4 is just a gimmick machine. That's all that is. There's some. The Moto X even looks a little gimmicky to me. I don't know if I want. So many of these things, and Windows Phone hasn't done it yet. I'm sure they're going to come out with some of these same features, and the eye gazing and the time lights up, or you just say a word and it. Do these people leave a house? When you have to talk to the phone and say, "Okay, Google now," or Google or Apple Siri, whatever. Because in the real world, if you're in a restaurant, at an office, on the street, you can't just talk to your phone.
No, I get that argument. I do, and I tell you what, though. Being honest, I've got an iPhone 4S in the house. Siri's handy, because you can be driving down the road and Mrs. Surface Geeks will just hold that button and say, "Find nearest, fill in the blank."
No, that's great. Driving, I agree. The driving modes, I agree. And even you could do that a little bit with the Windows Phone.
You can say, "Siri, text my wife.
Right.
I'll be home in 10 minutes." And it's done.
Right. And I have fun with the Google one. You can have actually a little bit of fun. I just don't. I think the advertising of it is kind of weird. They should be advertising, hey, you're in the car, hands free, you can just
Yeah.
talk to your phone, not like
I would
all
feel
these things.
weird in the train. I would
Right.
never, if I was in a crowd, I would never talk to the thing if I
First,
could type it in.
and if everyone has a Moto X, which they won't because 12 people buy it, um, if the entire world's saying, okay, Google now,
Okay, Google now.
right, how many phones are lighting
All
up?
these phones light up all through the train.
Someone made a joke
Yeah.
they were watching Twit from last week on one of the shows. Someone said they were watching the show, and every time Leo said "Okay, Google now," his phone lit up, even though
His phone went off.
it's supposed
Yeah.
to be only voice. Um, so in the car, I get it, but it's the idea of like even how they advertise it. You're seeing it at home, and what's the weather? Look outside or press the weather button. Like that's not useful. Like the Google one, the Google Now has some actually pretty good ones. Even on this, you can kind of by location. So I can say next time I'm in and name the supermarket, remind me to get something. And as soon as I walk into that place, the phone buzzes. That's useful.
Geofencing, yeah.
Yeah, the geofencing stuff. But just
You know
the
what?
idea of
Windows Phone
talking.
will get there. I've
Oh,
got
I agree.
things that it bothers me as well. I
Oh,
mean,
I
I'm
agree.
I'm still having issues with podcasting apps. I've been talking with Surface George. You know, our one of our latest and greatest writers out there at surfacegeeks.net, he's got a podcasting app review.
Hmm.
And we were talking on email, and I told him, I said, I give up. It's got to be Windows Phone. There's so many little things about it that just aggravates me so much. It has to be the platform and not the app writers.
Well, that's what I was getting to before. Like I said, we have a lot of the little apps that are fine, but the more, and that's what the response from even American Airlines was to me. It's like we have a lot of developers on it. Windows Phone is just a problem, or other apps just get out and they work. And is there something, and even with the YouTube, the HTML5 thing, I know that's what they said, so it wouldn't be done. But I'm not a developer, so I really don't know. I'm wondering if there's any developers in the chat room who listen to the show. Let us know. You can tweet at me or email Dave or
Well, we put a
whatever.
call out for a developer too.
Okay.
Several, actually.
Because I would love to know, especially someone who's worked on other platforms. I would love to know the difference for developing for Windows Phone versus iOS versus Android. Because even if we have the apps, even when we get the apps, there's always some hiccup with them. Is it just
Okay.
is it a lack of support, or is it something with the phone itself that they can't work with? It could be both. It could be one or the other. I don't know. I really don't know. But there seems to be something where right, someone in the chat room said Discovery. They made a big deal. They released the app. It stopped working. It's just podcast is just one of those things, and maybe it has to do with the whole music hub, and it's too complicated for
I have
developers.
strict requirements. So, I mean, you can't, guys in the chat, you can't tell me to download all my podcasts and shut up and be happy, because that's not going to happen.
And
I can't.
if it's too many, first of all,
It's too many. I cannot download all of them. And
just
even
make a simple
even a
RSS reader.
downloaded podcast, Darren, I've had trouble. I've downloaded a few, and playback sometimes. I think it's the app that unloads. It's a memory management issue. And I think the app just unloads. So you hit your power button, you hit your volume button, you should have the podcast pop up in the little volume control.
But it
and
goes away.
You hit play, and sometimes it doesn't. You go, you do it again, you hit the volume button, it disappears.
It's
So you
gone.
have to go into the app, then you hit the play button, and it sits there for a minute, and then it'll finally resume. But it resumes back to where you started the last time.
Yes.
Now this is say I'm listening to one show and stopping at 3 stores. So between store 1 and 2, you listen 10 minutes, right? So you get out of store 3, you come back, and it jumps back to where you were 2 stores ago.
I've had that issue with Audible as well. And you want to talk about annoying.
So a book.
David McCullough's 1776 is like a huge. I don't remember where where I was. All of a sudden it's like, this is Audible. I'm like, no, this is not Audible.
Yeah, no, it's So
Anyway, I don't want to. I know we got positive last week and people liked it better, but
people liked it better.
I'm just telling you what happened.
That's
Reporting from the ground.
we've only covered the first bullet point, and that was the YouTube app. Hey, you know what? We have a ways to go. I know. I know.
I just wish Microsoft was more responsive. They're very quiet about Windows Phone. The updates, even Nokia is complaining they're very slow. We have the first update coming out now, and apparently the second. Well, I didn't even get it yet. You probably got it.
I got it.
You got it. I
Killed
didn't
my
get it yet.
Bluetooth in my car.
I'm glad AT&T is a great partner for
Yeah, I'm
Windows
on
Phone
Verizon. I got it.
and the 920 and all that. Still waiting.
I really don't even know what I got.
You didn't get FM
I got tap to unlock, but it was killing my battery.
radio. You're supposed to.
What you Googled out on me?
Oh, I say perfect.
What was I supposed to get?
Oh, FM radio, but the 928 skipped it for some odd reason. Not such a big deal.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's not the biggest
I
deal.
could have used it at the football games though.
Right, it's kind of cool for those kind of things, right?
Yeah, I would never ever use it anyway else.
I actually used it once while on my 900, like
Audio.
surprisingly. But you have to have the one. It was supposed to come in the updates. Came for the other devices, just not the 928.
I figures.
Did you use the ProShot? Did you get the new camera app? Did you download?
No.
Okay, well the Nokia ProShot that came with the 1020 is available for your device now that you have the update.
Nokia
ProCam.
Shot.
ProCam, I think it is. ProShot.
Oh.
I have it on mine. I just can't run it yet. Hold
Okay,
on.
so Oh, you can't
boy.
see that. That's
Yeah,
probably good. You can't see that. Just think of shot with an I.
No, ProCam. It's Nokia ProCam.
Okay, ProCam.
Sorry, this app won't work because you're not updated.
Nokia ProCam. Okay, so I've got that.
Okay.
Nokia ProCam right there.
Okay,
I'm going to install it.
Install that. So that's the app that actually came with the 1020.
This is how busy I am. I can't even. There's someone in the chat room that's been trying to call me for like the last 7 days, and I haven't been near my phone. That I'm telling you, I can't get much more busy. Busier. So, it is good. So.
Yeah. So there you go. So that camera app, I'd like to try it. I tried it on the 1020. It's great. It's kind of cool. 'Cause, like I'm not as I mentioned before, someone who knows a lot about photography.
Hey,
while it's downloading. Look at that.
Yeah. Check it out. I'm downloading the.
Oh, I downloaded it. It just won't open.
ProCam.
I can download it. I did. Just says sorry you can't open it.
I'm just trying to rub it in.
That's okay. What's kind of cool is I can play with the settings and see what it does like live before we take the picture.
Uninstall it, please.
No, I'm gonna wait for my GDR2. And apparently GDR3 is going to be ready in September, so we'll probably see it in a year. Because you still have GDR3, and then we get to Windows Phone 8.1, which at the beginning was supposed to be with the rest of Windows 8.1, and now is going to be probably 6 to 12 months behind it. So I think Nokia came out, their VP of whatever was not so happy about that. Because it's not that catching up is one thing, but the other big OSs are moving forward as well. So it's not just catching up to where they are today. If you do that, you're still going to be a year or two behind,
Yeah.
So, and you got to go create some stuff, and the live tiles are great. Just wish they worked a little better, but they work pretty well. Sometimes the weather's, 3 days behind. But other than that, it's fine. You have to open it once in a while, I think.
I can't even complain about live tiles. You know what I do? I look at how many emails. Are there emails in there? I wish it had unread.
See, that's the one part I like about Windows Phone.
Okay, give me a choice then.
Okay, fair enough.
I would like it to say unread, because I go in there, I'm like, oh, I can't read that right now. I need to wait until I can sit down, and you see who it's from. You're like, okay, I gotta wait. I wish it was still on there as a notifier.
See, I love the idea that if I open my mail app, I saw what I need to see, and I close it. When I see that number, it's how many have come in since then, no matter how many I didn't read.
No, that's a great point, because I've thought of that. It's like, well, how do I know if something actually new came in?
Like if I use the Android and it's like you get a new email, you check, and it's like there's 6. Like, wait, did I just get all 6 of these? Did I get 2 of these? Didn't I
Yeah.
see this one already? In the notification center.
It is
So that's one thing I like about
expecting.
the.
Check one of my emails now.
So I do. That's a feature I like. So keep the mail the way it is, Microsoft, if you're listening, if you
Okay.
care.
How about settings? Just settings.
What about? Oh, all right, you want a setting?
Just give me more settings.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So Microsoft is pushing Bing on poor little kids in school.
Well, they're giving poor little kids an ad-free search experience.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
And this is part of the. I guess it would be part of the Scroogled campaign in some weird way.
Bing with us, baby.
Um, Microsoft's making a big point that Google in the classroom advertises and takes the kids' information as they search, as they do with everyone else, for ads. And so Microsoft says, hey, you use Bing, we'll give you free Surface RTs. Hey, we already wrote them off. I'll take it for nothing. Uh, and off they go. It's a smart way to go, especially privacy is in the news. There is a little bit of kickback, especially with parents and kids and what information's out there in the net and what information's searchable, that you could say, hey, we're going to give you the internet search experience without taking any of your information. And putting Surface RT in front of their faces. Let kids learn about Windows 8 and touch. The adults sure don't like it. Maybe start them young.
Well, there you go. I mean,
This makes sense.
How many does Microsoft have left? Maybe we just
Well, let's see.
a little donation would be more profitable.
Well, I think that's basically what they're doing. They say, we'll give you the Surfaces for free if you just use Bing as a search engine.
So let's get something out of it. Get kids
Right.
hooked on Bing.
Bing and
And
the
touch. Yeah.
touch and the Windows interface.
True.
So it's just one of those things. My mom just got a new Windows 8 laptop, and I'm setting it up for her. I'm showing her, and she knows what she's doing on computers, and she's like, in Word and the internet, she's like, but why do they need a touch screen? I'm like, well, for this. No. I'm like, in time with.
I can't tell you how many times I've reached up to this little crappy Chromebook and tried to touch that screen.
Because you're used to using the RT now.
Yeah, I'm so used to going up and touching.
The only time I touch the screen really is reading, like if I'm reading articles. I like to swipe up.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't use much touch. I use more in desktop. It's there, so I'll use it. So speaking of more little Surface news, we have Surface Geeks. Microsoft's making a big push. They started in the US a few weeks ago giving Surface Pros and RTs through their more old school channels like they used to sell to businesses, and now we're seeing the same thing in Canada and Europe. And that's the channel distribution. And so they're basically starting, they're saying, okay, the way of going through the Microsoft Store only, and then they expanded some, Best Buy and Staples, that's not going to get you into the big commercial channel that they're used to. That's their big market. These people buy through their old, I forget the name of the company. There's some companies that have been around for 40 years selling, 9,000 copies of Office to them. They'll sell them like the same way. You need 300 Surface Pros and 400 RTs here. I think they should have done this at the beginning, and apparently so does Microsoft. But it's okay. It's a start. They have to get, the ability to get it into more hands is not a bad idea. So, and I still think Surface Pros and RTs to an extent have a really good place in business. And I think, like I said 2 weeks ago, and especially with Outlook and all that on RT, and it has a place. They have to get it in the right hands. And there's a big, we talked about many times the launch and the RT ads and our theme music, for example.
Right.
And was it a good campaign? And so Microsoft has dumped the ad agency that did that whole campaign.
Okay. Yeah.
The Windows 8 and Surface launch, and at least at this point, they're not saying, "Hey, we're on the right track. It's where we thought we'd be." It seems there is a little bit of panic going on. And 8.1, we have a launch date of October 18th, right? October 18th.
Yes,
is the
it is
official,
October 18th.
which is people a little annoyed with because it was supposed to be a little earlier, and people thought since you can upgrade for free through the store, we get it earlier. but we're not. But they're still doing their ads. I don't know if you saw. There's 3 ads. We'll put them in the show notes. A Lenovo Yoga versus iPad for college, saying if you want to get good grades and graduate, you need a Surface, not an iPad. The Acer Iconia W3 versus iPad Mini. Now this I commented on Twitter about last week. I wanted to bang my head into a wall.
I know.
Can Microsoft please?
You know
I
what
am
though?
begging
You know they had. I guarantee you they had that filmed,
It's on
set,
YouTube. Don't
done
put it up.
years ago, and they had to. They had something with Acer. Yeah, I
What?
agree. I agree. But they had some agreements in place. They've got something. They had to put it out there. And you know what? If you dig around and you see people buying, they're selling. These things are actually selling.
To who and where?
They're at the Microsoft store. There's tons of them.
Well, there's tons of
I
them. I
see
know
them
that.
selling.
Okay. I'd like to know the return rate on those. Uh,
I'm sure it's high for some folks, but
mm,
I wish I
it's-
had my temperature thing because the thing got hot in my hands.
yeah, so I do like then actually was the new ad. The students fail if they use an iPad is the name of the article because you can't multitask, and Surface RT you can. And listen, I think Surface RT with a type keyboard is a great classroom computer. You can have OneNote, you can have your Twitter on the left, so you can ignore what your teacher's saying and ignore OneNote, or browser. And with 8.1, there's some things that work really well in 8.1, and that's what I think. I wish it's like, let's go, let's go. At the same time, I'm like, please don't rush it because it's so buggy. Please don't just rush it out. But when I'm in Twitter, the Twitter app, for example, and I click on a link to open it in Explorer, it goes 50-50. And I can read the article, and I can just do that and do that and do that. And you can do it with some
Yeah, that's
RSS
handy.
readers.
Mm-hmm.
That is really cool. That's how it should work. Because that's what you want 50-50. You're going through your RSS list, and you want your, there's some really neat stuff, but again, we're not going to see it. We'll see it because we're on the little bit of a dork.
Yeah,
We
we're seeing it
preview
now.
stuff and betas, and
As good as it can be. I mean, it's still a little buggy.
it's quite buggy. The
Yeah,
Surface,
okay, I was trying to be nice.
I don't know about you, my Surface RT just not using it closed just powers down, loses power. I have to actually shut it off now to keep power on it.
Oh, see, I don't have that part. I
And I
just
saw,
app freezes. I just get app freezes every once in a while.
and I was like, just turn the Bluetooth on. That was some big fix they put online, but my Bluetooth was already on, so that couldn't have been it.
Well,
So it's a little bit of a pain now. Yeah, so every time I have to shut it down, turn it on to make sure there's battery next time I use it.
True.
So it's not quite the point of the RT, but listen, it's beta, and you take your lumps with that.
I think 8.1 is going to it's going to improve life for everyone, for Windows users, for Windows pundits, for Microsoft tech bloggers. It's going to help. So
it's a much needed improvement, but a lot of it's going to be on spin, marketing, and all that, and hardware. I think hardware is still the biggest obstacle in all this. And
okay, so you said hardware.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what I did with the link. Maybe I put it in.
I think you put in. I copied to the bottom.
Surface Geeks.
Right.
Okay, there was a tweet. Did you see this?
Which one?
Did you click? It's the very last link at the very bottom.
That's easy.
Oh no, that's not it.
No, that's ZDNet. Oh, here's Twitter. Here, this one. Hold on, I'm opening it up.
Yeah, I can see you opening it up too. Okay, so I've got a tweet by an MVP. We're not going to name names or anything. A tweet from an MVP, and he says, "I finally came to a decision," and he purchased an i7 Haswell MacBook Air,
right,
instead of the X1 Carbon.
Okay.
And he says, so far, 10 hours, battery's still going. Okay. This is my problem because I'm looking for a laptop too, and there's this chasm between Intel processors hitting the channel. I know we've talked about this. And
yeah.
You've lamented about this.
Right.
But they're still not getting out there. I'm kind of waiting. I'm in limbo so I can buy a Haswell Ultrabook.
And they're just so slow coming out. I mean, they're just so slow.
It's killing me. And you can see it right here. I just right in my Twitter feed. This guy decides to buy a $1,200 MacBook Air instead of a Lenovo,
And puts Windows on it.
and it doesn't have touch.
Right.
And he's going to get a less than stellar, operating environment because it's Windows on a MacBook Air, and Apple just makes sure that you're not going to have a good experience.
And you also have the Sony Vaio Pro is probably the similar experience, but if you really put some stuff into that and juice into it and get your long battery life, because to get the long battery life, you need the battery sheet. And with the battery sheet, it actually weighs exactly what the MacBook Air weighs. So the
Well,
weight's not an issue.
you need some BIOS mods and get into,
Right.
turn that
And
processor down, underclock.
well, you still get 12 to 14 hours with that battery sheet. Okay, but now you're talking $1,700, $1,800.
And how much does it weigh?
It weighs exactly the same as the Air with
Oh,
the
okay.
battery
I
sheet.
didn't know if it went over 3 pounds or.
No, it was exactly without it, it's even lighter than the Air. But with it, it's the same as the Air, and you get great battery life, but you're paying, $1,800. But you get
It's crazy.
higher resolution screen and a touchscreen. So you do get that, but the price is high. That is not a everyday. Listen, a few weeks ago, Mary Jo Foley said on a podcast that she's looking at the MacBook Air.
Well, that's okay. So my point exactly.
Because they can't wait.
A lot of people. Yeah. See, I thought I sold a MacBook Air for
Right.
God's sakes.
Well, that wasn't going to run 8.1 with that kind of battery anyway.
Well, no, and it was a 2010, so
Right.
it was. But I didn't think that there would be such a lag of hardware. And so this brings me back to 8.1. Is this because of 8.1? Or
I don't know.
Is this the Apple-Intel relationship that's killing things? I mean, whatever they did, they're doing it right because they have this box is out there. I can go buy it today if I wanted to.
And I actually mocked Apple during their keynote, and I should probably take that back now. When Tim Cook, I think it was Tim Cook or one of their people who was on stage, said we worked with Intel and we made sure we can get these laptops with 12 hours of battery, blah blah blah. I'm like, no, that's just Haswell, right? That's just Haswell. Well, everyone's going to get those chips. Well, everyone's not getting the chips, and the Haswell.
They're not getting them right now.
And if they have them, the reviews of a lot of the few Windows laptops with the Haswell chip, apparently the temperature is like your Chromebook.
Pretty damn hot.
Pretty damn hot. Where the MacBook Air, for some reason, stays cool.
I think they're underclocking it.
Oh, they went down a little bit on the what processor they're putting in there compared to the old one. These
Plus they've got that fancy little funky fan.
Oh, whatever.
Nobody seems to figure out.
Right, no one can figure out. It's just it's frustrating because especially the tweet you just showed. This is obviously a Microsoft enthusiast. I mean,
he's an MVP.
Right, he's an MVP. This is someone who uses the product and evangelizes about the product.
Yeah.
And to the point of him, and he's running Windows. That's not a mistake. He's not.
No, he's putting 8.1 on it.
So this is more an indictment of the OEMs
than
the Microsoft.
This is not the indictment of the MVP. This is the system.
Right.
Because I'm in the middle of it right now. I'm in the middle of it.
It's not even an indictment of the.
I have a Chromebook.
Microsoft. Right.
I have a Chromebook. I tried the W3, sold it. I'm experimenting. I have the luxury of experimenting with hardware, doing a review, and selling it. I have to purchase it. These guys don't send me the things.
Right.
I have to purchase it. If I waited for them to send it to me, I'd never get it.
You get the 2002 MacBook Air.
We're working up. Yeah. We're working up.
Yeah.
To that status.
But it's a problem, and especially like a tweet like that. It's not the indictment of Microsoft because he's running 8.1. He seems to like it. But there's no OEM, and this brings us, we can just go right into what we missed last week since we weren't here. We are seeing, apparently, there will be new Surfaces, including a Surface RT, which, thank you, that means there'll be no updates, new software, and everything else for our Surface RT. But this is great news, and this is something Microsoft has to just take on. I mean, forget about screwing over the OEMs at this point, because the OEMs are screwing you over. So if you're not willing to run them over with a train like they're running you over with a train, you're dead.
Yeah, I agree. It's sink or swim time.
So it's time to see the 8-inch back, same form factor of now, 10-inch Pro, to maybe a 10-inch RT, definitely 8-inch RT, And then I want to see a 13-inch Ultrabook Surface, Haswell. Not a clickable keyboard.
What?
I want to see the Surface Pro like we have now with the clickable keyboard, the click. I also want to see a Surface Pro Ultrabook with Haswell, made by Microsoft. The equivalent of the MacBook Air made by Apple. Microsoft
Oh, I
needs to
thought
come.
maybe you wanted like some yoga. Do you want to
No,
like
I
a
just want
yoga
no,
or
a
just
standard
ultra? Tap tap.
touch though. Ultrabook, 12 hours of battery life, looks good and runs and works.
I'm looking for my wallet, Darren. I don't know where it's at, but okay. I'll be the
Because
first in line.
at this point, Microsoft, they have to. I understand these partners have been around a long time. I understand they sell a lot of. These partners need Microsoft too, because as much as they're pushing Chromebooks, there can't be much margin on a $129 Chromebook. And they're not going to sell a lot of Ubuntu machines next year.
No, that $129 Chromebook has gone through Acer twice.
Right, exactly.
I don't know how much margin you can get off of it.
I'm guessing
at
they're
that
just
point.
trying to get zero at this point.
Yeah.
And then, so you're not going to do Ubuntu. Good luck. You want to go that way? Good luck. So at this point, Microsoft says, hey, we're not Apple. You could still make devices using our Windows system. You licensed it from us. But we are also in the game. It's kind of what Google's going to do with the phones, everyone says. Microsoft has to say, we made the Surface last year, as everyone said, but we're not going to ship them Surface Pro right away to let our OEMs come out with their devices. Well, it didn't work. We're back at square one. And the Surface and the Pro and the Surface RT are great with the clickable keyboards and tablets, and those are more tablets. It's time to come out with a laptop.
You had me at 8 inches, baby.
But it's just
that sounded horrible, but
it's okay.
I did that on purpose. But yeah, 8-inch RT, you had me. I want that.
Exactly.
And if they came out with an Ultrabook, I would buy it. I would be on it.
Right.
I would have. I mean, you're talking about $2,000. Those two devices.
Mm-hmm.
$2,000.
Right, and it would be just like going to Apple and getting your iPad and your MacBook and your phone and saying, woohoo, you go to the Microsoft store and it has just a little Microsoft 4-block logo and all three things, and you walk out the store.
I'm on it. Give it to me.
And you have no cruff on the machine, you have nothing, and it works. And because at what point, how low were, Windows 8 sales we know are slow. And that's, a combination of a lot of reasons. It's not just Windows 8. It's, more people buying tablets and phones and not using computers as much. But there is the fact Windows 8 in real life and in marketing life is not a success. So at what point does Microsoft say, you know what, how many write-offs do they need to say, okay, we need to do something? Will the reorg help? We're still waiting. The reorg really doesn't start till October. It's, hey guys, we're starting over, but we're going to keep it the same way for 5 months. Someone needs a kick, and this starts again at the top, and we've said it before. Something needs to be done. I mean, and a business like as big as Microsoft, it can change by doing stuff at the top. I know it's not the biggest deal in the world, but look at ComScore, big news today. Yahoo passed Google as the #1 visited website in the U.S. It didn't come from number 20 or 15 or 10. It was still, I think it was 1, 2, or 3. It was 2 and 3 for the last one. It's the first time since 2008 Yahoo had more clicks than Google through their entire ecosystem.
What, was there a naked lady on the front page, or how'd
this
happen?
Well, they've got Tumblr and they got a bunch of other stuff, and Flickr, and whatever the point is.
Semantics, yeah.
But listen, they get paid to get visitors, so that's more than semantics. Then that's their business. That's Microsoft saying, you know what, we have some new leader in, and we're selling machines, we're selling Windows licenses, whatever the case is. That's where they make their money. We're selling services, whatever it is. Leadership matters, and it's been, and it's, the whole thing with Steven Sinofsky, and even the people in charge now are really his people anyway. So I guess it's not that big of a change. But when he knew he wouldn't be CEO, he took off. Something has to change, because if nothing else, just to stop the PR. If nothing else, say, hey, we're still here. I know people are joking. Bill Gates needs to come back. Even if he comes back and they just say he's CEO, he actually does nothing. That's great for the company for PR. It would be like, the big brother's back. We're okay.
A Jobsian recovery.
A
Is that what
jobs
you're trying to tell
but
them?
don't let it get to the point where Apple got. Microsoft's nowhere near that. They're still making a ton of money, and Azure is beyond successful right now. Office 365 is
You've
doing
got a
great.
lot of billion-dollar
They have a
products.
billion-dollar business, so be careful because that's not profit, that's revenue.
True, but
So I mean, Bing's a billion-dollar product, but it's losing money. So, but they make a lot of money. They make a lot of money off Android phones. So they're not at where Apple was. I don't want to confuse that. They're still in a position of power. They're still on more devices than any other operating system by far. But you don't have to go that far. You know, Corporations still know Windows. They still want Windows to work. I still
okay, well, I'm going to say this.
mhm,
That's not going to happen. I'll just give you some predictions. Surface RT 8-inch,
mhm.
yes, happening.
Okay, I think agreed.
Bill Gates coming back, not in our lifetime.
I
No,
agree.
not going to happen.
I'm just saying what would work.
A Surface Ultrabook, not in October.
Okay.
Not in October. Okay, there's part of me that wants
Mhm.
to see it, but I don't think it's going to drop in October. I would say January, February.
Okay. So you think it's possible they come out with one
It's
though? It's not
possible.
okay. Because at
It's
this
possible.
point, I mean, Lenovo's making, I think, the best hardware
Oh,
at a high
absolutely.
at a
I
high end.
totally agree.
I,
I said that coming out of CES 2013.
I think it's been that way for a few years now. They've been really making some of the best hardware. I'm on an Asus right now, whatever that whatever it was, the mid-level
Asus makes some
Ultrabook,
fine gear.
and it's fine. It works. They had to
Mhm.
delete some annoying Asus update stuff and McAfee, and.
Oh, well, Asus and Gigabyte, and yeah, they do that.
So
They
it's a little
can't
annoying.
write software.
No. So anyway, but the hardware is fine. It works fast, turns on quickly. Great. I was actually getting my first test was when I was traveling, and I put this on to chat with you guys and do some other work, and made it cross country about 5 hours, and still had 20% battery life left, which is not bad. I know it's not Haswell, but it's not bad. So there is hardware out there, but there's no flagship. There's no device people want, and right now no one's going to buy Windows 8. Everyone's like, why? I told someone to buy a Windows 8 machine. You should see the email I got 2 weeks later. I'm just throwing it in the garbage can.
Oh, really? Wow.
They try to bring it back somewhere to Best Buy. Best Buy's like, actually, it's defective from Asus. Asus said it's gonna take a week to fix. They're like, well, it's a work computer,
You just give them a $5 program,
right?
start 8,
Start it. That's I know. I know.
just then you're golden.
It sounds so simple to us, and I think that's something. It's hard for us to understand why. Even I got Windows 8 in a few minutes. I used what I wanted, didn't use what I want. Still had a better task manager than Windows 7. It had better dual screen support than Windows 7. Turned on fast in Windows 7. I'm like, Windows 8's a great upgrade,
It's better,
but
but
you wouldn't know.
it has to be trained. It has to be trained.
Right.
You
And to
got to
us,
get
it's
in front of
easier.
people to show them how it can be easier for them.
Well,
How
now
to get
the
better.
boot up screen should be good. And
Yeah.
Asus gives you a good tutorial when you open it.
8.1 changes things. It does.
I hope so.
It
I hope
does.
so.
I
Because
mean, I'm living proof of looking at all those 8 laptops and then coming back to my 8.1 and just saying, "Oh, thank God." I'll take a frozen app every once in a while.
right, and it works pretty well. I mean, it's just a matter of there is a thing people use to something. I think that's what Apple's fighting too right now with iOS, as you said, bigger and the grid of icons. There is a large portion of the Apple iPhone universe who are 45 and older. Is the only thing they've ever learned how to use. And if you change that on them, they will be throwing it in the trash can like the person with the Windows 8 laptop.
The problem is they don't even really know how to use it.
But they don't need to. They see it and like, this is comfortable.
They don't even know folders.
What's folders?
Like dragging an icon on another icon in iOS and making a group of icons. They don't know.
Someone who helps our show notes learned that a couple weeks ago.
See? Mrs. Shownotes didn't know how to group icons?
She knows even positive. She didn't think about it. Like if that was, it's kind of like what I said with the Windows 8. I'm like, you just drag up or down and right, and there's stuff there. Like, why? Like, why would stuff
Why?
be there?
My thing's right here.
Right. Can
Yeah.
you group icons on your Windows phone? No. No.
Hey, I have a
You
fix for
want
that.
to? I know. You
I
want
know. My hub. I
your
want the
hub.
Dave hub.
You want a Dave hub. I want a toast history.
Hey, I would take that too. I would take that too.
Oh, okay.
Hey, so let me show you something positive.
Okay.
Let's go to GearCam.
I have to go look at the stream now.
You know what? I totally forgot to tell you something. I dropped my phone for the first time. I have never, ever dropped a phone like I dropped this phone last week. It's still alive. I do have some scuffing on the back.
Right. A little scuffy on the sides, right?
And I have a little ding right on a corner. For some reason I didn't have my $3 eBay case. Okay, here's your app. This is how you can barely see it, but it says start shooting with Nokia Pro camera in a few easy steps. Swipe to start. Okay.
Someone wants to know how hot the phone is.
Okay, hang on. 88.
Maybe we're just used to all these things at this temperature.
I shoot everything.
But it's 80 something in the room, guys. Don't be.
All right, this is page 1 of 7. Holy crap. 2
Well,
of 7. Full res review.
We can't complain about tutorials anymore, right?
Man, I hope I can get back to this thing because I'm not reading it right now.
Oh, you'll figure it out anyway.
Full res. I bought a Pro app. Do I need this one? Full res reframe. Oh. What?
Yes, you'll see once you get through there why it's great.
Okay. Switch to video. How do I switch to video? I swipe somewhere right here. I don't.
Like all windows, just swipe from one direction to
Just
the other.
swipe something. Slide to zoom. I don't zoom. Hey, I turned the Chromebook off. Notice.
Yes, I see. Ready to cast.
Bracketing. You got to be kidding me. That is cool. That is really cool. So I can get back to it. Look, tutorial.
Oh, cool. There you go.
7. Open Nokia Smart. Wait. Oh, to get to my lenses.
Wow.
Cinematograph and panorama. Okay, so I'm done. Let's go. Ready. Okay. Nokia Pro tags your location. I don't want. I can change this in plus camera settings. Oh wow.
Ready.
I like the look. Holy cow, I like the look. Can you see that?
Yeah.
You can't see how crisp it is in GearCam. You really cannot see how really crisp it is. Oh, the camera's hot. How hot is that camera?
Oh God.
It's 87.
Everything's
91 on it. Sorry. HDR, Dave. I have that app, HDR.
But this now, what I loved about playing with this is when you play with the ISO, and the white balance, all that stuff. It actually shows you before you take the picture what it's doing to the picture.
It's okay. Now that I'm talking, it doesn't know me, my side profile. But when you're talking, I got you on two screens on my Windows box. It's tracking your head, trying to do that facial recognition.
Perfect.
Even through the drink of tea, I had you. All right, so if I swipe to zoom, works. Swipe this way, swipe that way, swipe to zoom. I got my lenses. I like this. Oop, I broke something. Oh, I picked the wrong lens.
So it's pretty cool. We got that app this week. We also got the NFL official app this week. We got NASCAR a couple weeks ago. There's been some pretty big name apps at least coming. Major League at Bat, midway through the season, but we have that. No, Icon, that's actually a 928.
Oh, I see it now. The video change. That is not intuitive. I'm sorry, that is not intuitive at all. Let me show you gear cam. Oh, I'm taking a picture of the. Okay, so there's the stand. So you see that you have to. Oh, don't take a picture of that. You have to grab that little icon and then and flick it up. I don't know.
There you go. That works.
Crap, how'd I do that?
Yeah, it's available for
Oh, then that
any
gets me to my.
the 900 series, anything with GDR2 on it. Right,
That's
920.
intense. So if I start, is it default camera app? It is not default camera app.
I think you can probably set that, I assume. I think it is on the 1020, it is, but yeah.
I'll take it as a default camera app. That's pretty cool.
So Nokia's doing good work. I think that's the
Saving
moral
grace
of the
for Windows
story.
Phone.
Yeah, Nokia is Windows Phone right now, and the
Yeah,
numbers are proving
I
that. They're
agree.
just, I mean, HTC, the 8X actually like the form factor of it, but the Nokia line, especially the apps are coming with it and the work they're doing. I mean, the 1020 is all about the camera and the camera app, and that's all Nokia.
You've got an article out here, Dave Amenta.
Oh, that was when I was talking before about my.
Yeah, I need to read this.
Yeah, this is interesting because this is a Windows Phone developer who
Wow.
went and switched to using using an Android phone. And it was similar to what I was just talking about before, the story I was telling like last week, and I actually switched my SIM to the Android now for that when I was at the end of my trip because I was like, I just can't do this.
Yeah, it peeved you off. I
Yeah,
understand.
it's just one of those things, and not a matter of listen. I want Windows Phone to succeed. I like a lot of it. I love the screen. The camera is great. When I take a picture of the Samsung, I'm like, oh my god, it looks like it's just awful. Uh, so anyway, there's a good. If we'll put a link in the show notes to this article. It's I think tells a pretty good story about usability and what we look for in a phone. And for some people have different needs.
Mhm.
There are a lot of people where the camera is the number one app, and I do like the camera. It's just not my number one app. Uh, so I wish Windows Phone does a better job for email, just like he talks about, especially with Exchange. But anyway, it's a good article, something worth reading.
I
Uh,
I do know one issue with your Windows Phone.
what is
Can you
that?
see gear cam? Are you
Oh,
streaming?
oh, hold on. I have to put back that. I don't look unless I have to. Okay.
There's an icon on your Windows Phone that's wrong, and there's the one in the middle of my phone is right.
Is this gonna be like my Mets icon or something?
Can you not see it?
Not yet. It takes a few seconds. It's like so far behind the stream. There it goes.
Oh, okay.
I see a Texas Rangers thing.
Okay. See, there's a fault in your
Oh,
phone.
that was the problem?
That is the whole problem.
But my Mets icon is so much bigger than your Texas Rangers.
It is.
That's the issue. And we still have, I guess, the name change. We still have we should talk about that story a little bit. The Sixtagram story.
All right. Yeah. Set me up. Okay. I'm with
Okay.
you. I'm with
So
you.
a few weeks ago, the developer of 6sec, and the Wikipedia app that won the best app contest, said he's coming out with an Instagram client, and he would have it fully functional and all this, and it's going to pass through Instagram. So WP Central went up with an article. Instagram's going to approve a third-party Windows Central app.
Read it?
That's
Yep.
about 6 minutes later. Instagram's calling every media source that's out there and saying, "No, we're not." We'll look at some of the legal stuff with it if he wants. So he's been developing this app, and I've been using it. And it's actually pretty cool. It was called Sixtagram. We'll get to that in a second. And one little problem was, so it's doing a good job. Unlike the other ones, it gave you the follow feed and the news feed, which is actually one of the cool parts of the Instagram itself.
Okay.
Lets you upload, use the same filters, reverse the API to the point where he's able to use the same filters as Instagram. Rafael Rivera actually has been crazy on Twitter about this, saying I don't know why people are celebrating. He's literally just stealing the stuff. He's been tweeting that and even at the developer. But anyway, and then it turns out in the middle of using this, anyone using the app or any of these other third-party apps, Instagram treats as spam.
Okay, we went through that, right? They filtered.
Well, no, we were back from that. No, that was fine. They
We're
filtered
doing
it
it
and took it
again.
out. This was different. So when they treat you like spam, they let your pictures go up to Instagram. What they do is they don't search your captions. So if you have tags in there or keywords, they won't show up in a tag. They won't show up in a search. So it's fine if people just follow you and you don't care about discovery. And I don't really care about discovery. My friends follow me, and that's fine. But a lot of people use Instagram for discovery, and they'll put certain words in there. So I did a test, and I used some stupid tag that no one uses. In fact, my dog's name is Mookie, so I said Mookie the dog as my tag. Took a
Mookie
picture of him.
Cabrera.
There you go. Mookie Wilson, actually.
Mookie Wilson. Yeah.
There you go. Uploaded the picture, had it, searched Mookie the dog. 3 other dogs came up, which was kind of funny. But not my Mookie the dog.
Not your Mookie.
So because I was using this app, I was labeled as spam. That's the only way to really test it. So anyway, now he sent the app recently into Instagram, and they said you have to change the name from Sixtagram. They won't want Insta or Gram in anything.
I
So
saw that. Yeah.
So now he's using Sixtag, I think, just TAG. So it's still a good app, third-party app, but I don't think it's going to last long. I just have this feeling that all these apps are going by the wayside. It's just one of those really annoying and funny stories because they're letting him put the app out, reverse engineering everything, just not with the name.
So is he still in beta, or is it?
He just
in the store.
It's in the store in a day or two. It's still in the beta channel. He just
free or pay?
I think they have both. I think free and pay if you want to upload video, which I'm kind of surprised about. I think that's the part Instagram's going to come down on.
I don't understand that, to be honest with you. How they could stand to let someone make money
I don't think
on their system.
And a few different apps are charging for it. I don't think that's where I think they're gonna. I think that's
how there's not a cease and desist.
I think they're gonna let it go into the store. As soon as the first person buys it, there'll be a takedown. Because I just can't see why would Instagram allow. I mean, they give the app out for free. That's their, Facebook. It's Facebook's thing. And I agree with Surface Droid. And Microsoft has a investment in Facebook and Instagram and can't get an app. They can't get a Facebook app. So anyway, so like I said before, we have a few different apps this week. Some other good apps: Touchdown for NFL Mobile, Sixtagram, now Sixtag. Let's see, we have Gameloft. I mean, I'm not a game person, but 15 new titles coming to Windows 8 and Windows Phone 8. More the merrier, I guess, right?
Sure.
OnStar. So if you have with a GM vehicles, so if you're locked out of your car, you can unlock your car, start your car, all that fun stuff. And what was the other card? The Viper, the Dodge Viper. Their app came. It's on our notes, but that came out this week. And the Windows Phone App Studio beta we talked about a few weeks ago. Responses exceed expectations, so we can all expect more crap apps in the App Store.
Hey, I developed a crap app.
You did, but that's not. Can we agree that's not going to save the platform?
I didn't publish it.
Okay. It's fun. I'll probably play with it for the same reason.
I thought it was pretty cool. I made
it is cool. I don't want to knock the whole idea of anyone developing apps.
Well,
they made a big deal of this, like that. But that's not gonna. I don't know if it kind of goes in this. Did you see the story today on a BlackBerry yesterday said they have 100,000 apps or something?
Yeah.
One developer had 47,000 apps, and they weren't good apps, like RSS root feeds.
Oh my God.
47,000 was
wow.
one dude. One dude.
One dude.
One dude.
One dude.
No, it was Viper Alarm. Sorry, Surface Droid got it right. I saw Viper. I got a car. I don't think they're making the car anymore.
That there's a lot of cruft, as you say, in the Windows.
But they all have that. I mean, iOS and Android are full of it too. So that's a problem to all these things because there is a lot smaller barrier to entry when developing for these mobile systems. Just anyway, so we do have a lot more apps coming, so that's good news. I just hope the apps work, and I hope by the next time I see the person I saw last week, I can take my Windows Phone back and say, "Ha! I can put money on that jukebox now.
In 2 years, you shall.
I want to play Jimmy Buffett with my own phone." And
Uh,
I know everyone's excited. His new album came out yesterday. I think it's number 30 something.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be number 1 on Amazon as all his legions of parrot heads go and buy the album, even though they already downloaded it.
That's
And I
funny.
think that's it for the news.
I think that's it for everything.
That's the end of Windows Phone. We just got. We talked about your MacBook Air, right? We talked about that. Oh,
Yep.
this is interesting. XP retirement. You had a question on this.
Okay. I put that in there, and
Yeah.
I don't want to go long on this because we need
This made me
we
laugh.
need to roll. Um, I was eating breakfast the other day, and I
What were
realized
you
that
having for breakfast? That seemed bad.
a low cholesterol breakfast. Thank you very much. I realized she's over there tapping away on this point of sale system, and it's XP.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, you know how many POS systems, not a piece of junk, but point of sale systems are on XP
Do you know
with
how many
credit card readers?
airport monitors are on XP?
Now I'm talking something that's
I know.
connected to a network
Right, right, right.
and has my credit card involved. Not just all the XP machines out. And I'm just throwing this out there. I have a feeling somehow, some way, something's going to happen, and Microsoft is going to somehow be forced to update XP. Now, I don't want to say government involvement, but I think that may happen.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's big.
Because in corporate, you're like, okay, eventually you can move up, and it's time to replace. With POS systems, those are. I mean, most of the ones I've worked with are the more proprietary, different units, but the small shops have a lot of it, a lot of the software just running on XP or Mac.
Okay, well, someone in the chat room, Surface Droid, has
Mhm.
said they have 457 XP point of sale nodes
Wow.
just in the area that he supports. Okay, now my mom and pop breakfast joint and Surface Droid's 457 nodes. What's the last thing that they want to do
Right.
in these
Exactly.
hard times is update not only software but probably machines. There's gonna
Other Jim just said someone spotted XP on a notebook running on the ISS during a NASA webcast recently.
nice. Now it's going to take something phenomenal to happen, like some type of security exploit
Mm-hmm.
that goes unpatched. You know, it's going to hit the news. XP is out of date.
Right.
Then security exploit ABC. What will Microsoft do? Microsoft says, "Hey, we warned you guys. We warned you guys."
Wow. I,
Like the government standing in for Apple on this Samsung thing, trying to get iPhones banned from shipping into the country.
right. Right.
You know, it's going to be something stupid like that. I think it's going to happen.
It's at what point that what is Mike? I mean,
There are that many
I know there are
XP
that many.
machines.
It's still a majority of computers, I think. I mean, not majority, but pretty close. It's that's one I didn't think of. You know, it's even internally. There's a lot. I guess yeah. I mean, it's all these POS type stuff, and even the what do you call it? I think a lot of like things we don't think of behind the scenes, and maybe not more damage, but like certain like mass transit systems and all that. I mean, they have to be.
Yeah. Something has to give. And the world does not want to move forward because of the costs. I guarantee you.
What's that whole idea? If it works, don't fix it. But now with everything connected, it's a more dangerous land of when it works, don't
Correct.
fix it.
Correct.
I mean, hopefully, maybe there'll be some third-party stuff. Norton, McAfee.
Yeah, you're going to have to get firewalls that are specific to issues
And
like
that
this.
work, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, I mean, you have to be sort of connected because that's where they authorize the credit cards and everything. So it can't be just in a silo anyway. They are connected.
hmm Yeah, they have to be connected. And it's a software issue because think
Mhm.
of all of the specialty software that was
Of
written
course, for XP over the 15 years, whatever it was.
correct. I mean, you're talking your veterinarian has a program. Your
Right.
accountant has a
There are
program.
there are different dates, and I think
Time clocks.
right. JPEG in the chat room's pointing out there are different end dates for different versions of XP.
Okay.
You know, it's not all next year, but a lot are, and I think more of the mom and pop shops for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I think definitely, and some of the bigger ones you think might have vendors and such that help them with that kind of deal, or service teams that help them with that kind of deal. Because
Someone yeah, read the chat.
I see that.
Confirmation: the International Space Station is still running Windows XP.
Well, but you know, when it's put up there, that was the OS of choice. But I don't think they have to worry too much. Are they connected? Probably.
I'm just throwing that out there.
It's interesting.
Having breakfast, I think of crazy things.
I I think they'll do something. I mean, I still think it might be third party, but I could see Microsoft saying, "All right, we'll give you one more year. Thanks to Windows 8 being so successful, we'll give you one more year." But I can't take on much further than that.
I don't know. We'll see.
Um, exactly. So, right, JPEG's right. Maybe he's right. Maybe a lot of people are running the POS version that they sold a couple years ago. But it'll be interesting to see. And if they're creating, and if there is the 2019 end date and 2017 end date, depending on the versions, that means they're patching XP at that point, even though they're different weird versions of XP. So why not just patch the big boy XP?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
I kind of said right now Wikipedia says 37% is still running XP of all computers.
I think I heard that somewhere else.
So even if it gets down to 30%, it's crazy. Even if it's 30% by the time we get to end of life. How
And
much
I
further can it drop
understand
than that?
they want all those XP desktops out in the trailer parks
Hmm.
with the cable modem gone.
Right, and
That's what they want.
at some
I
point
get that, but
right.
I'm throwing that out there.
It's a good point. What size credit card beach will it take? Or medical records. Forget, you know, how many doctor's office, dentist's office probably run this stuff.
Who knows? Who knows? I know it's a problem, and I'm just
No,
saying that it it's going to be a problem.
it's going to be good for business.
That's what they think.
I'm
I hope.
talking for us. I'm not for them.
For technicians, podcasters alike, it's great.
So let's follow that story. We'll keep that in the show
Keep
notes.
that in mind. We'll see you next.
We'll have a countdown clock.
Okay. We
And
need a countdown app. Put
this
it
is
on the
probably going to,
site.
you know, it's funny. You know, how much money did the government spend on Y2K?
Oh, I imagine a
I
couple
mean, some
dollars.
couple dollars, right? All that crazy. This would probably be a bigger problem than Y2K ever was going to be.
I can see that. I'm gonna go back to my breakfast joint and ask them if they're
That's
running embedded or standard, and they're gonna go, huh?
what do you want, you grits? You have grits, right? You're in the part of Indiana where you do grits? Southern part
No,
of the
that's
state?
southern. Yeah,
More south. Oh, I guess go
that's a
further south.
southern. Yeah,
Oh, okay, fair enough.
yeah. We're in the middle where they don't really know what they're doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Some kind of weird mix of oatmeal and grits.
yeah.
It's all mixed up.
They don't have that southern action going on,
Hmm.
but they don't have that northern action where you can get a good brat or a good Italian sausage or something. They don't know that either.
Right.
So
Wisconsin.
right in the middle.
Oh, okay. So what does Indiana have for food? What is your? And
Nothing.
that's the end of the
I
podcast.
peanut butter and honey. I don't
Oh,
know.
peanut butter's good. We all like peanut butter.
Yeah.
And on that note,
It's a vast wasteland of
flatness. A
it's corn.
flatness.
Corn and watermelon. That's all we have here in
Watermelon's good.
Indiana.
Is it even the edible corn, or is the corn we go to use for fuel?
Indiana is the #1 producer of what type of corn?
I'm going with GMO Monsanto corn.
It could be field corn.
Oh,
It could
okay.
be popcorn. It could be sweet corn, or it could be ornamental corn. As my LastPass just updated and opened a tab. Sorry about that. So
And
pick one of those. Pick one of those.
I'll go with the ornamental corn.
You would be wrong. Ornamental. Come on. That's the Indian stuff you get at
I know what that is.
you get at Halloween.
Yeah. It has to come from somewhere.
Sweet corn, field corn, popcorn. The answer is, come on, Orville
Popcorn.
Redenbacher. Popcorn.
So you're responsible for that mess.
We give you popcorn, my friend.
Okay. Well, we have the sweet white corn this time of year.
Yes, sweet white. Super sweet. All right, that's been Surface Geeks 35. Thanks for hanging in there. I know that was a rough one. Again, it'll be 2 shows bad about Microsoft, 1 show good. Two steps back, 1 step forward. So we're gonna try to turn this around. And actually, Darren, I hope next week I can bring out the movement, my grassroots movement. I've been planning this for quite some time. I know you know a little bit about it.
I'm going to go sit in a drum circle in Zuccotti Park near Wall Street with that shirt on.
So
See
we're
if
just
anyone
gonna next week we'll
picks up
see.
on that.
This week I'm wearing this, the homeservershow.com wear. Next week I hope to have something for you. I'm going to employ each and every one of you. We'll talk next week. If you're not signed up for the meetup, it's going to be epic. I mean, epic. Very happy with some of the things that happened this week for the meetup. Please get an RSVP. There's 30 left. 30 left. Go out there. Search meetup out in the Surface Geeks forums. Get out there in the forums, participate, and talk with us. And we'll see you here next week. See you, Darren.
See ya.